everyone, I hope you've been well. So today we're going to be talking about some of the hurdles in our relationship with our higher power. There can be a lot of different hurdles that get in the way of our relationship and our intimacy with our higher power. But today we're going to be focusing on the three most common ones that I've seen when I work with individuals. And so with a lot of individuals who have a relationship with their higher power, they tend to kind of focus on two things: staying positive and staying committed. And those things are really powerful in having a healthy and productive spiritual life. But oftentimes, even those things can be held back by some hurdles that maybe we don't really see or we don't really understand. And so let's jump into what some of these hurdles can be. So the first is control. Control. In almost any faith tradition of any kind of relationship with a higher power, there's this understanding that our higher power, to a great extent or to a small extent, is kind of choreographing our life and being involved in our life. But oftentimes that idea is really hard for a lot of us to wrap our minds around. What does it mean to have a higher power that's kind of choreographing and is kind of involved in our life? Well, it means that to a certain extent they're kind of in control and not you. And I think with that can come this dilemma of, how much should I do and how much should I let them do? But one thing I have found to really help with a controlling struggle or an issue with giving your higher power control is to just ask yourself this question: do you believe your higher power is good? And do you believe that they have good intentions for you? Oftentimes, a lot of our issues with control come down to the answer of this question. If we kind of struggle to really believe that our higher power has our best interest in mind, then quite frankly, it's really hard to trust the things that happen to us, and we begin to feel like we need to maybe step in and make things happen, which then gets into this issue of needing to control things, and that creates the stress and the unhappiness that can really impact our relationship with our higher power. And so, when it comes to the first hurdle in our relationship with our higher power, think through this for yourself. How are you doing with letting go of control? How are you doing with letting your higher power choreograph and be in control? And do you believe your higher power has your best interest in mind? The next thing that is really common that can get into, that can get in the way of our relationship with our higher power is when we start marrying God and spirituality with materialism. When we start kind of bridging materialism and God together. And here's what I mean. It's so easy when we have money and we have our health and things are going well to feel like God is proud of us and God is happy with us and God's involved in our life and with us. And it's so easy when things are not going well, like you don't have a lot of money, you just lost your job, maybe you're dealing with a terminal illness, that God's mad at you and God's punishing you and that you're not doing a good job and something's wrong. And this is one of the most classic mistakes that people make in their relationship with their higher power. And it's basically this: they don't believe that a higher power or God could use bad things for good. They don't believe that a higher power or God would actually want a bad thing to happen for some ultimate purpose he's engaging in. Which means that when we kind of experience God and we kind of go through our life, we're kind of looking for the good things, the money, the rewards, the materialistic objects, the nicer car, the better health, as kind of signs and indicators that God's kind of with us. We kind of avoid things that are difficult or disturbing or uncomfortable or not very nice, because that's not really where God is at all. But if you look at any faith tradition across any culture over the last several thousand years, you'll see that there's plenty of opportunities where people have to do very hard things, very uncomfortable things, just to bring about better things for everyone else. I imagine if we spoke with Martin Luther King Jr. Right now, he would say to us, I was persecuted a lot, and ultimately I was assassinated. And if I kind of got wrapped up in this whole idea that, God's not really in the difficult stuff, then he may say the civil rights movement, God wasn't really in. But would he ever say that? I don't think he would. And so it's examples like these and many others where we step back and we realize, you know what, there are situations where things cannot always be the best, but God is definitely still in them. And that's very true for our lives as well. And that could be a big hurdle in our relationship with God, where we keep kind of using the bad and the good as kind of a measuring stick, for whether or not God likes us or we're in a good relationship with God, when in reality, God is using all of it, because that is the nature of God. He is the great choreographer, and He's writing a story that spans across all of time, not just your life right now. Lastly, is to understand in our last hurdle in our walk with God, is to understand that many times we fall into treating God like a vending machine or Santa Claus, rather than treating God like someone we have a relationship with. And this could be kind of connected to the second one, but it's different because when we treat God like a vending machine, we're really saying that we're kind of in a retail relationship with God. I kind of pay you, and you kind of give me something back. I'm kind of giving you money, and you're kind of paying me back with a particular service or a product. But how well would our earthly relationships work if when we sat down and connected with people, we said, hey, listen, so I'm going to give you like 30 minutes of my time, and then I want you to like come over and clean my house or wash my car, or hey, I'm going to like give you a really nice birthday gift, but I kind of really expect you to kind of give me a good birthday gift back. Oftentimes this can kind of happen in our relationship with God, where we find ourselves in kind of an exchange relationship with our higher power, rather than a relationship where we're kind of talking and connecting with Him. We can remember somebody's birthday, but it's very different to remember somebody's birthday than to actually call them up and say, hey, happy birthday, I was thinking about you. Or think of it another way. It's one thing to say to a friend, I had a really bad day, I could really use some advice, could you help me? Than to say to a friend, hey, fix me, make me better, make me feel whole again. As you can see, treating something like kind of a product or a vending machine is very different than treating something like we have a relationship with it. And so with these three things, we kind of begin to understand kind of the three hurdles to our relationship with our higher power. And I hope as you kind of think on these and chew on these, they can help you kind of begin to realize, hey, maybe I sometimes try and control everything, or I kind of have this partnership between God and materialism that's kind of messing me up. And maybe I'm kind of treating God a little bit like a vending machine rather than somebody I can actually have a communication relationship with. And so thanks for watching, and feel free to share this to anybody you think would benefit from this video, and I'll see you next time.